Okay, I apologize for the background noise, but I have a 6-lane highway less than 100 yards from me on the other side of the wall right there from my apartment complex. What we're getting ready to do, getting ready to replace this right here, because as you can see, the flap is broken off and water can blow up in there, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. It's held in by rivets, so you drill those 3 rivets out. And first of all, what you got to do, you got to take this end plug off, because take this end plug off, then you got the bare wire. You slide the bare wire back through that hole right there, and you close it, and see, that way no water gets in there when you plugged up something. So anyway, got to take the plug off, put the wire right through there, put the plug back on, and then install it right there and be good to go. I just wear and tear right there, just wore it off and it broke off. So I've been holding it on with tape. If y'all been watching my videos, y'all been seeing tape there, and that's why I've had the tape there holding this together. But Christians will do the work for me due to my hands messed up, but let's see how it goes.
Alright everybody, we're out here on John's trailer today on a Scamp trailer, replacing the electrical outlet cover because the actual protection lid has broken off of his. Alright, now there are different electrical connectors out there. Some of them are sealed connectors, some of them actually have a case with screws in it that you separate to take your cover apart. So on John's trailer, he has a sealed head unit. So this is completely sealed. It's a dipped design. So the only way to replace this is if you come down here, cut, splice, or if you go all the way to the inside and do a whole complete cord. Since we cannot separate this sealed unit, what we're going to do with the new cover is we're going to take a razor blade and we're going to trim this section and this section out so that the electrical connector can pass through. Now, in order to remove the old one, we're going to let the electrical hang. I'm going to take a 3/16 drill bit and drill out the 3 rivets that are currently holding it. Then we're going to clean up the silicone that was used, take it all the way out, and then prep the new one. And a key when drilling, don't force everything in and don't over drill the hole size. Let the drill bit do the work and match up your drill bits to the size of the rivet that you need, because you don't want the hole to be any bigger when you use rivets to put it back together. Alright, the goal is you just want the head of the rivet to come out. That's all you're looking to get, is the head of the rivet to come off. And work it out around just a little bit, just enough to get the head of the rivet off. Alright, all 3 rivet heads are now removed. Now you can either use a razor blade, flat blade screwdriver, or paint scraper to come on the back side. And all you're doing is trying to get behind that seal and spread that seal and have this thing just walk itself on out. Slides right on out. Now someone in the past has used, this is like a rubber silicone seal, or they've used putty like what's used in plumbing. So, but since we can't separate the cover off of this and just have the bare wires, what we've got to do is let this come through here and just push its way through the plastic and pop out. Alright? Now another thing you want to do, since your rivets are pushing through, take your screwdriver and either pull them, you can either pull them out with pliers, or you can actually drill it all the way through, because this is a very thin layer. If you reach inside of here, you just feel insulation, rubber silicone, things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill them all the way through so that the holes are clear. And what that did was that pushed them into the insulation. And you just reach in and pull them out. Make sure you keep control of where your trash is, because rivet heads and things like that, drill bit shavings, they get in tires, pop things. If you happen to come walking outside with bare feet, you end up, cutting yourself. So there's a good insulation in here. Definitely good silicone seal. So I'm not going to make the actual hole. I don't need to make the holes any bigger than what they already are. We've got new rivets and things that are going to go in and hold this quite well. So the other thing you can use is all this old silicone will just roll off with your fingers. You can use a scraper, but try to be gentle with the scraper. Get a plastic scraper if you can. Don't go with steel, because you don't want to gar up and mess up the, scar up or mess up the side of the trailer. So once again, I'm just using my fingers and just letting it roll down. And it's just this is a basic silicone caulking that was used from the previous. You can use rubbing alcohol, a little bit of gasoline on a rag. That would definitely help clean it up and get all the extra sticky stuff off there. Rubbing alcohol would probably be best, because that will actually clean the area and dry it so that there's no residue or goo or anything still on there. And another good reason you want to get all this stuff off is so that when this piece goes on, we are going to use some Flex Glue, Flex Seal White. They do make it they make clear, but you want to make sure you get silicone, not just caulking. Caulking will not hold up to the longevity in the weather. You want to get something that's got a true rubberized silicone seal. So, and I will put a bead around the back side of this. And then once it's on, I'm going to put a bead just like you would caulking on the outside and smooth it around. And it cures very fast. And you can pick it up any hardware store. A lot of automotive parts places are selling it now too. Grab a couple more supplies. Be right back. Already doing cleaning prep now. We're using just a little bit of gasoline. Very small amount on a paper towel. This helped get a lot of the goo and stuff off the side of the trailer where John has had duct tape when it went bad. Takes all that goo and stuff right off. And the only thing you do is, gasoline typically evaporates. So once you get it off, you just dry it real good, let it evaporate. Just working this with my fingernails. Just this little bit that's left over right here on the ring. And if there's a little bit left over right at the ring, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to make it uneven, unlevel. It's still going to seal because it's going to be pulled in with rivets. Alright, put our wet rag away. Get our dry rag. Now our whole surface is clean and it's drying. Now, the old flange, the plastic was dry, or was worn, excuse me, so it actually flexed. And I was able to just pop the whole thing right out, electrical end. This one, pretty stiff, so I don't want to crack the housing. So we're going to use just a basic razor knife, or if you have an oscillating tool, a small rotary Dremel tool that can do some cutting, just cut plastic, that's all you're going to need. So, and we're just doing this to trim it out only because he has a sealed electrical head. If you have one that can separate and you can disconnect the wires, it's really simple. Just take off one wire at a time, get you some masking tape, and mark them so you remember where they go and how to hook them back up. And it's only 3 wires. Very simple. Alright, so we've opened it up. Not flexing the integrity of the sidewalls. This is nice and smooth. Not going to sharpen, or not going to cut or dig into any part of the electrical wire as he pulls it in and out. This is very heavy duty cable anyway. So we're just going to feed it through. And you'll figure out a combination of how to twist it, how to set it, but it will go through. Alright, and with this one, we're actually going to notch a third one. We're going to notch here at the top. I don't want to notch the bottom because over time, the cable comes right here. Comes right across here over time. Just constantly. So I want to leave some support in the bottom. And I'm just using a standard razor blade knife. Something you would most likely have standard in your camper, or in just a small little home repair bag. There we go. Alright, it's not sharp on my fingers, so not sharp, no damage. And in Virginia, we have the humidity going on right now, so we got a lot of mosquitoes. And they are not friendly. Alright, just a little bit of slight pressure. Pops right in. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to prep the flex seal. Our area is cleaned. We can use scissors for this. Mosquito. But you just want to do the smallest end possible. You can use a harder surface. This works really well. There we go. And you're just going to put a basic little coating, or a bead as they would say, on the back side of this. And you want it to kind of be a little bit thick. Because as this squishes against the actual trailer with the rivets, it's going to mushroom out just a little bit. So just a decent little bead, about a 1/4 inch thick, not even a 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. And you just rotate it around. So you got a good bead going all the way around. Alright, that's it. That's your bead right there. You're going to bring it up here, line it up right with your original holes, slide it up, just let it touch. And the original hole that's drilled out for the entire assembly will sit there and keep it somewhat secured. It's not a crazy fast drying time, but it is a drying time. So, all right, now we're going to go back in with 3/16 rivets. Now the rivets that came with this kit, and this is U.S.A. Tools, one of John's tools that he's found and used. Your rivets don't need to be but so long. This is a standard little 1/8 inch rivet. You can use a 1/4, you can use a 1/2 inch. It's pretty open inside of there, so you can go kind of as deep as you want to. Alright, now one thing that I just found out is the holes on the new piece are not 3/16. So we're going to open them up with the drill bit just enough. Just a little bit. It's not going to take much. Alright. So a little run in the caulker, we'll wipe that up. Excuse me, the silicone, not the caulker. Alright, now we're going to be ready for the rivets. You can use screws if you want to. If you do use screws, I would definitely recommend putting some of the silicone in the hole, putting the screw in, letting it get tight, and then let that, so that way over time with vibration, weather, swelling, shrinking, the screw won't back itself out. If you use a rivet, you don't have to worry about that, because a rivet will contract and expand. Folks, so we have a little update. We had to make some changes to how we're going to mount this to the trailer. Okay, so the original rivets and the original cover were 3/16 rivets. Well, the screws that come with this new piece are only 1/8. So what we decided to do was, rather than doing rivets, and the rivets were, this plastic was so thin and brittle that when we went to put the first rivet in, it tried to crack it. So what we're going to do, we're going to be using a 1-inch long self-tapping hex head sheet metal screw with a 5/16 driver bit in our drill. Now, to answer everybody's question, yes, we are going to be making new holes in the body, but we have to do it because of the way this is made and the hardware this is set up for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this out. We're going, the original holes, we're going to put a little dab of silicone in each one of those holes, so it helps seal them. Alright. Now, this is how we're going to place this. So since the original holes were perfectly level, we're going to slide the unit in where the original holes would have been. We're going to rotate it just about a 1/4 inch to the right. Still going to work, still going to seal, not going to have any problems. And then what you're going to do is you're actually going to let the self-tapper go through the cover and make a new hole in the body. So you let it start, it's going to drill through the body. And you'll feel it. Once the drill bit goes through the body, the drill will actually get a little torque to it, and then you'll feel the screw, and then you just run it in nice and slow until it just starts to touch and hold. And that's all you need right there. Now we're going to install the other ones. The head of the screw is drilling right there. As soon as it gets that little punch, it's going into the body. And you let it go just till it touches. And that's all it's going to take. And the silicone that's on the back side of this will actually seal around the threads that this hole is going with a new hole, so it'll actually prevent it from getting water leaks. There we go. Alright, that is now installed. Now your cord can pop in and out. This can open. I'm going to go ahead and push this back inside. Let that be covered. Wipe off our excess here, so our area stays nice and clean. And now we're going to apply a very gentle bead all the way around the end. And it's just like if you're doing caulking at your house. You want just enough to get around it. Now I'm adding some right here on the front because when we tried to apply a rivet, the plastic became brittle and cracked. So I'm just filling in the crack. Just like you would do with caulking, you can use your finger, damp towel, something like that. Just make you a nice smooth bead. It's going to seal all the way around. That's going to actually help push it down into the crack behind it also. Alrighty folks, let your silicone dry. Go by the directions of what's on it. This one is supposed to be 20 minutes. It can be pliable. Give it 24 hours. It's very solid. But that is how we do an install on a Scamp trailer of an electrical cover when you have a sealed unit. All right. Thanks for watching.